Yes.
Also fear, when the situation is very critical, it gives you, I mean, in the physical strength to be able to run faster.
Yes,
Is
yes,
it correct?
yes. It's for continuation of life, continuation, protection. Okay, we want to welcome back our Facebook audience. We are very sorry. Something went wrong and the Facebook went off. So please go and invite everybody else. Go and invite your people, your friends, and we are continuing again. We are continuing the teachings and the trainings on personality. This is going to part 2. Then we keep on going. So we are talking about fear. We are talking about fear right now, and fear, the fact that fear is an instinct, and just like all other instincts, they are a blessing to protect us or to to provide, to make sure that we continue the process of reproduction of human race. But so fear is one of those instincts that God has given unto us as a blessing. So, and I was saying that fear is not always negative, although some people right now talk about fear as only in the negative. But fear really is a blessing. As much a blessing as sleep is a blessing. As much a blessing as hunger is a blessing. As much a blessing as sex is a blessing. As much a blessing, as gravity is a blessing. So a lot of those things that are instinct built in us, they are a blessing to us. But then, fear, like any other instinct, is not supposed to be our Lord, our manager, but it's supposed to be our consultant. It's supposed to, and our alarm system is supposed to consult us, but we rule over it, and we take our decision through the willpower and the power of the mind. And if you wanted to contribute to that.
I can sit here. Come on. I said I'm really glad you treating this particular topic.
A bit louder, if you don't mind.
I said I'm happy that DSA is treating this particular topic about fear, because I've always believed that fear is very good, because when you don't have it, you lose control in everything you're doing. So I have a friend who always, she's scared of everything. And then she thinks it was a bad thing. So each time I talk to her.
It could be a bad thing.
It could be, when it controls you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I said to her, look, yes, be scared a little bit so you don't lose control of what you're doing. However, do not allow it to take over you. Otherwise, you will collapse. So it was just a confirmation that the way I look at fear is actually the right way. Even I advised my daughter, I said, look, anything you're doing, if you don't apply fear so that he can give you like a break, so you look at what you're doing, okay, you understand? Like if you lose, okay, like if you're a child, okay, and you just do anything you like, parents have given you principles on what to do, how to do them, and when you lose that fear, you understand, you start doing whatever you like, and then it leads you to a crash. So I'm just saying that it's a support system.
Beautiful,
yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, we'll go back to the page where we were. So, personality know how to manage fear. So this is about fear management. So personalities know that fear is good for them, but it must never control them. So personality also know that fear is good for them, but they put fear in perspective. For example, let's say I need to confront an injustice in my area and field of interest. A personality knows that even though fear is a blessing, but if I'm walking in my will, in God's will for me, in my purpose, allowed to neglect fear and subdue fear because I am obeying the order from above. So I am walking in obedience to God's will. As long as I'm walking in obedience to God's will, I can suppress that fear because the God that I'm obeying is superior to that fear. Okay, also, if I am walking in obedience to truth, if I'm walking in line with the truth, I can also supersede and override fear. Even though under normal circumstances, I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Like, for example, Peter walking on that water. Under normal circumstances, you don't walk on water, you will sink. But because he's walking based on the word of the Lord, so by thy word, I will go, I will step out. So that word provides now the basis for him to be reckless with fear and for him to suspend fear. So I'm suspending fear because I have a basis for it. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. I have a substance. So, for example, in my situation, people come to me and say, Pastor, you are so bold about this Nigerian. How can you mention all the GOs and bishops and something? But what they don't know is that I know principles, you know. Personalities know how principles, how life functions. So I know that I am on the side of the truth. And that anyone on the side of the truth is a majority. And if you're on the side of the truth, you're on the side of God. Under normal circumstances, if I'm not sure that I'm on the side of the truth or I'm just doing something from my own head, I would not do that. Because I'm not acting by the truth, and the truth will not defend me. So the truth, even though I know that I'm acting by the truth, but everybody else doesn't know. So everybody else is afraid, and afraid for me too, and thinking I'm reckless, but I know something. And because I really know that truth defends and protects me. So the truth sets you free. The truth supersedes and is superior over fear and over any instinct or over any law of nature. Truth, the will of God. Those are the things that's God. Those are the things that are superior to any natural fear. Yeah, I don't know if you are getting it. Okay, so because a lot of people, sometimes who are biomasses, they know the truth that God is telling them to do something, but they still walk in fear because they don't know the power of the truth. Or a lot of Christians believe God, they have faith in God, but they are still walking in fear, in some natural fear. You know why? Because they don't really know what it means to believe in God or who God is. You know, so if you are fearing witches and wizards, it's because you don't know God. If you go to meetings and pray and be praying about your enemy and things, and the Bible already says greater is he who is in you than he is in the world, it means you don't believe in the truth. Truth doesn't mean anything to you. God doesn't mean anything to you. So truth and God, they are supposed to help you manage fear. And personalities know that. So personalities know that fear is not meant to control man. They put fear in its right place. They discover how to tame fear. They tame fear by the power of the truth. And by the power of knowledge. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. From fear as well. My people perish for lack of knowing, knowledge, or not knowing. So knowledge is another force that helps you to tame fear. So use it. Personalities use fear as their source of motivation to do things. So fear is not just to stop you from doing something reckless, jumping from the 9th floor or the 10th floor or 20th floor, for example. It's not just in that sense. But fear also acts as a motivating factor. Like you are saying. Like, for example, there is a danger and you are afraid, and when they are running after you with a gunshot, and you are running, that fear sometimes will enable you to do. Aha. That's now that is thing. So the fear of not pleasing God, the fear of failing God, the fear of disobeying God, the fear of not conquering your promised land. Sometimes those are very, very strong factors of motivation for you to be able to go beyond the ordinary and do more than you would have done in your normal logic. So fear acts like accelerator in that sense as well. And personalities know how to manage between all this. All right, here we go.
Fear is the main source of superstition and one of the main sources of cruelty. To conquer fear is the beginning of wisdom.
Read it again.
Fear is the main source of superstition and one of the main sources of cruelty. To conquer fear is the beginning of wisdom.
Bertrand Russell. Yeah, that is, fear is the main source of superstition. So the power of superstition is unfounded fear. Because the power of superstition is based on the lack of knowledge of truth. So where truth is absence, superstition takes over. Every superstition is fear. That's Africa. Everything is superstition. Fear. Because truth is not known. So the power of superstition is fear. Or fear is the main source of superstition. And one of the main sources of cruelty as well. A lot of the cruelty that we see is as a result of fear. Have you ever heard of jungle justice? Fear. Have you ever heard of corruption? Fear. Fear that if I don't take now, I will leave the office and I will be left with nothing. Fear. All cruelty that you see is because of fear. Have you heard of people attacking Pastor Sunday on social media? Fear, because he's going to talk about these things. If you don't destroy him now, there will be no offering. And die. Yeah. Fear. So fear leads to cruelty, makes people to be wicked. In Ukraine here, there was a time I was the most hated person in the country. Yeah. Why? Because how can a black man come and rule the world? Fear. So, fear. So fear leads to cruelty. Fear leads to superstition. So to conquer fear, therefore, is to be a wise man. Not just to be a wise man, it's to be a powerful man. I'm not talking about reckless fear like psychiatric person. I'm talking about logical fear. Conquer fear logically. It's the beginning of wisdom. It's to be wise. Because then, that means if you conquer fear on the side of truth, on the side of knowledge, on the side of understanding, on the side of God, you are going to be not just a free man, but a wise man and a powerful man. So that's what Bertrand Russell is talking about.
Next. Proverbs 29, verse 25. The fear of man brings a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord shall be saved.
He said, fear brings a snare. It's fear of man. But fear of God brings safety. Okay?
Until you overcome fear, you cannot truly become a personality.
Yeah, because personality means confrontation. You have to be confronting one thing or the other every day. Or people. Personality means that any land of promise where God is telling you to go to, Grace, you are the one who was talking about land of promise. Can you go to any of the square? That's your own land of promise. You see that? You see the way, you can't see my red? Okay, so that land of promise that you want to conquer, there were people holding it for Satan and for his principalities and power. That land had people already enjoying the place and the fruit of the land. They will not give up easily. So that is why, being a personality is always confrontation. With Satan, with his agents, but his agents are always human. So you have to be bold. You have to conquer fear to really walk as a personality and fulfill your destiny on the earth. Thank you.
Until you overcome fear, you cannot truly become a personality. The only fear that real personalities entertain is the fear of not acting or the fear of not doing enough.
And that way, fear is being converted as an instrument of push, acceleration. Because the fear of not obeying God, the fear of disapproving, disobeying God, or fail, or not doing what you're supposed to do. That helps you to maximize your potential. Okay?
Most people in our world are actually afraid of stepping out, starting something, or risking a venture.
You remember we were speaking yesterday about the Igbo nation?
Yeah.
It takes a personality to be able to address all those issues. You remember we were talking about where are the people, why are people not addressing this, that, because of this. Go ahead.
Next. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Franklin D. Roosevelt.
Because more people fail as a result of fear of not trying than as a result of failure itself. For example, let's say we have 10 people here. And they said, we've never been swimming before. We didn't know how to swim. And they said, okay, swim across that river. 8 will not try, attempt, because of the fear that they will not make it. Because of the fear of failure. So it is not the failure itself that stopped them, it is the fear. Because if all of them have tried, it is possible they will make it. At least some of them will make it. But because, or maybe all of them, but because the fear has stopped them from trying. So the fear keeps you from even trying. The fear of failure, that you will fail. So it doesn't even allow you to try. So the fear of failure make more failures than the failure itself in the process. 80% never do it because they are afraid of failing. But when they try it, only 20% actually fail. But 80% that would have made it, they don't even try. And that's the same thing with all of us that have callings. We consider this, and we're afraid of not trying. And that's why in churches, most people that sit down and never do anything is because that fear of failure is keeping them from even trying. And the fear of not trying is the greatest factor for 80% of things that never get done. But if they had tried, they would discover that only 20% will fail. So, but personalities know this, and they venture out. You want to say something more? Okay, go ahead.
Next. Instead of being afraid of starting something or that you might not succeed in an endeavor, it is healthier to just start anywhere. If there is anything to be afraid of, it is the fear of not venturing out, not risking, not daring. Once you overcome your fear, it is easy to leave a mark in the history of your generation.
Okay, just like you, right? Come, Abby. A lot of students like him wanted to come here and be in this HMT. But they went into the internet and saw the amount it's going to cost to come and participate. And they all gave up and said, no, we are students, we cannot pay this. But he decided to venture out. And what he did is that he got on the internet and wrote me a letter all by himself. I directed him to the team, and the team told him that if you are a student, don't worry, anything you have, just pay and come. So he's the only one that got here. He said, fear. I can't. I don't have. He conquered fear. And he's been blessed. Thank you. But some people will not even dare to to try. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Once you overcome your fear, it is easy to leave a mark in the history of your generation.
Go ahead.
Next. Inaction breeds doubt and fear.
That is not Dale Carnegie's photographer. That is Warren Buffett photograph. Okay, don't worry about it. We'll forget about the photograph. We'll forgive them.
Inaction breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage. If you want to conquer fear, do not sit home and think about it. Go out and get busy.
You see?
Dale Carnegie.
Yeah. Can you say it again?
Inaction breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage. If you want to conquer fear, do not sit home and think about it. Go out and get busy.
The best way to conquer fear is to act. Attack what you fear. Because fear is a signal. Fear is an alarm system. You either accept the instruction or you neglect it. Or you even, when the alarm is ringing sometimes, you can wake up and go and do what you need to do. Because you obey the alarm because you need to. But you know what most people do when the alarm is ringing in the morning? They turn the other side of the bed. I just continue to sleep. That is the second reaction. They just turn over like that. I just and put the blanket over. But if that alarm will ring again, some of them will do the third step. And the third step is they will raise up hand like this. That alarm is in trouble. Because they will collapse down on it big time. They will just collapse it down, bam. That's the way to do with fear. Because fear is an alarm system. So you can either obey it, neglect it, or collapse down and attack that fear itself. That's what you do when you now go ahead and just hammer the thing. That's the same thing with fear. You either obey if you think it's good for you, you neglect it and turn over around that bed and just put a blanket over. But if it's becoming a nuisance, go after it. Collapse it. That's why you say the best way to deal with fear is to attack the fear itself. Make it, turn it into a victim.
Next. Quality number 5. A personality is always concerned about the decline of justice and the advancement of injustice in the society. Next. Proverbs 21:15. It is a joy for the just to do justice, but destruction will come to the workers of iniquity. Next. Most people are concerned about the decline of justice and the advancement of injustice in the society. While ordinary men complain about these things, personalities act on them. Personalities take their concern for the decline of justice and they turn it into action.
See, that's what we were talking about when we were talking about the Edo prostitutes. And people die. You know, most people are like that. Like in our country where we come from, most people complain about everything. Everybody is an expert in complaining, but nobody is an expert in doing. You know, but personalities are not like that. Personalities are not just concerned about the decline in justice and advancement of injustice in society. Ordinary people are the ones who complain. The mere people, the mere mortals are the ones who complain like that, never do anything, they never act. But personalities act. They take their concerns far above and further than complaints and go and do something about it. Okay, go ahead.
Next. I guess the only time most people think about injustice is when it happens to them. Charles Bukowski.
And that means that you don't live by principles and by virtues. It's a value system that's supposed to dictate your emotions, your reactions, and your actions and your responses. Not what happened or didn't happen. Not accidents, not feelings. If you are waiting for something to happen, then that means you are responding to an instinct or stimulus.
Next. Ordinary men simply sit in their living rooms and hold conversations, mainly in the range of condemnation of those who are supposed to be responsible for stopping the evil. Some people even go to the extent of writing columns and articles in the newspapers. Some talk on shows, on the television, but none truly steps out.
Yep.
Next.
You know, of course, talking on shows and television is better than talking in the bedroom or in the sitting room. Next level, level by level. Then after that level, maybe there will be action.
Personalities act on their beliefs. They resist injustice and they are not indifferent by any means. Next. In keeping silent about evil, in burying it so deep within us that no sign of it appears on the surface, we are implanting it, and it will rise up 1,000-fold in the future. When we neither punish nor reproach evildoers, we are not simply protecting their trivial old age, we are thereby ripping the foundations of injustice from beneath new generations. Alexander
Solzhenitsyn. Solzhenitsyn. Alexander Solzhenitsyn.
Alexander Solzhenitsyn.
Solzhenitsyn.
Okay, Solzhenitsyn.
Yeah, Solzhenitsyn. Yeah, you got it. Solzhenitsyn. Yeah. Yes. Where is he from? You can't tell from the name.
Russia.
Russia now, yeah. Yeah, because it's from the far eastern part of Russia. You know, in Russia, you have different kind of people too. But he's not Russian. He's not typical Russian. Yeah. This was it. He used to be in exile. He was in prison for fighting communism. Yeah, he's a personality. He was sent out into prison. and sent away from Russia for fighting communism. So he's a writer. He has very famous books. So when we keep quiet and silent about evil, and we bury it deep within, it deep within us. That silence. Then,
That no sign of it.
when we don't allow the sign of that fear of the truth to appear on the surface, we are planning it, and it will rise up 1,000. That thing we refuse to confront, we're actually burying it. It will rise up and fight us 1,000 times. That evil that we are refusing to complain about, to fight against, to raise up our voice against, it will be like a bomb that we have planted in our compound. And when it will explode, it will bring more damage, 1,000 times more damage, than if we had just gone to remove it on time. So that is how silence about any evil is. We are burying it, multiplying the effect 1,000 times through our silence and through our indifference. When we neither punish or reproach evildoers, we are not simply protecting their trivial old age, we are thereby reaping the foundations of justice from beneath new generations. So, and then that way we are not just, refusing to punish the evil right now, but we are making it worse for the next generation that we are leaving that thing for. And we are making things more difficult for them. Okay?
Next. Questions. Is the question of injustice a major concern to you at your workplace, in your nation, in your immediate community? Do you even notice them? If yes, what are you doing about it? Are you setting up a system to establish and enforce injustice? Do you have an outreach campaign or crusade against injustice? Do you expose injustice in your nation? Do you bring to light issues of injustice?
These are questions that we have to answer practically. All of you have to answer these questions practically. So can you, one by one, ask those questions?
Is the question of injustice a major concern to you at your workplace, in your nation, in your immediate community?
What do you think about that? Now or before now? Before now, huh? Yeah, is the question, the issues of injustice, always a question of priority in your life? Or you are more particular about your personal well-being and your family's well-being?
So, for example, before all of this training, and I would see these things on the news, I would see it as their problem. It would not even cross my radar to be my personal responsibility. I'll just see, okay, so it's another thing that is happening out, another injustice that is happening out there. And especially because today's media, we see these things and hear it all the time, so you become desensitized to it. So, no.
Something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I completely agree with my mom. We see these things and then we just don't react. It's like we're immune to the problems, like going around us. Like, I'm thinking before I came here, there's so many problems, even like, like where I'm from now, and I'm thinking, I've just been so blind. We've got a problem of homelessness. I don't know what's going on in Milton Keynes, but there's just so many people who are living in tents, and I just always thought, oh yeah, the council should do something about it. It's their problem. It's not my problem. So now,
sensitize your soul, your conscience. Okay. Next one, Benita.
As for me, it's simply because of religion. It's we've always been taught to be silent, not to speak, and not to, it's religion. Like this morning I was speaking, I don't know if it's off topic, but I just feel like I didn't know anything about life at all, even myself. It's like I'm just broken, like everything is just the wrong, it's like I was fed with just so much junk, and for me these things would just pass me. I wouldn't really pay attention to it because I was more concerned about religion and church activities, and so these things wouldn't cross my mind anymore. It's like I was brainwashed. So I felt like today it's like I'm born again. It's like I didn't know anything about life, to be honest. I'm just broken. I don't know.
So people live on this earth, don't really bother themselves with anything, apart from their own personal survival. And religion itself was started for this. Religion was started for this. Okay, that was number one question. Number two question. Number two question is, do you even notice them, this injustice, or lack of truth, or lack of equity, or lack of righteousness? Do you even notice them? If yes, do you respond? What do you do about them? What are you doing about those injustices that are in your area of calling, or in your community, or in your nation? Yes, please. Mrs. Ola.
I personally feel frustrated.
Why won't you come here?
Oh.
I'd like to look at that, your dress once again.
I personally feel frustrated anytime that I see anything that is not right and bothers me a lot, but because I didn't know any better, all I do is just pray about it and then ask God to fix it.
Or it will come down from heaven. That's why we're here, to do what God is supposed to do. We are the body of Christ. He doesn't have body here apart from us. We are the body of Christ. That means that we act for him. He doesn't have body. He doesn't have hands. He doesn't have legs. We are his head, his legs, his everything. Yep.
When I see evil around or injustice around me, in most cases, I'm also worried, where do I start? Sometimes I feel like this issue has been on for a long time.
Overwhelming, right?
Overwhelming. This has been on for a long time. It's like I will see my attempt as if you are flogging a dead horse. And I begin to feel as, oh, you can't just do it. But what I do realize is that we are wired differently. You may not agree with me, you're fine. Some people are good at raising the awareness. Somebody might be there as having the strategy. Oh, cool. It's cool what this guy is saying. So if you are the one that can raise the awareness, somebody might have the strategy to go about it. Somebody begin to donate ideas, philosophy, principles. But the fact is, where do I start? Don't condemn yourself. I cannot solve the whole problem. I tell you, DSA cannot solve the whole problem. What he could do is raising soldiers for the Lord, for justice. So if it takes a bit by bit, we can all finish an elephant in a short while. We only need action. I like talking. Be mindful what you are wired to do. Don't do what he is wired to. You will fail. Some can just talk from their mere talking. They put spirit back in you, and you get insight on how to go about it. But walk within your limits, and you will live fulfilled. Thank you.
Thank you. What do you do when you're overwhelmed like that about situations that you say? First of all, identify your own scope. What you are supposed to be addressing that situation, what you are supposed to be solving. You cannot solve the problem of the whole world, but you identify that your own area. Number two, influence people to also identify their own areas. Number three, raise the awareness, at least that these other areas are there that other people can, address. Number four, you can take over something that is urgent, even though it's not your area, to later on, delegate it or give it to somebody who is more, in sync with that particular issue. So there are a few things that we can do. Okay, next one. Are you setting up a system to establish and enforce justice? Because for example, somebody here in Ukraine, one of my disciples, this is a question they asked me. I was in the bus, and the driver was reckless, the bus driver. Anyway, and he said he normally sees this all the time. The driver will not stop for the elderly people, because the elderly people, they are supposed to be taking them for free here, because they don't pay for transport. So they don't, and then they walk slowly. So they are coming slowly, and the driver just say, the bus is already full now. They just go. And they are feeling, so once I just pick a fight with the driver, with this one particular driver. And, that other people blame him and all that stuff. So that's one thing you can do. It's one thing to be a one-man army, to be fighting that driver, but then you will not be there all the time in the bus. He's working like 24 hours, but you are somewhere only one time. So instead of being a one-man army, can you put it on? Instead of being a one-man army that is just fighting injustice one at a time, why don't you set up a system? Establish a system, a movement, a pressure group, civil society, enforcement agency. Start a movement. So sit down. For example, let's say somebody said, I know my sister was raped, or a sister was raped. And so I'm pursuing justice for that. So went to the police, we reported, and it's taking 3, 4, 5 years to prosecute that person. That's just one instance. So instead of you just spending 3 years just to do one thing, to get one driver to be punished, why don't you sit down, go back home, sit down, think it through, find people of like-minded or yourself, look into the law, set up a movement or organization, go to the media, present it, ring the bell, raise the alarm, start a whole movement whereby everybody is now talking about it. That way, you are doing a concerted effort that will be able to, address thousands of that situation at one time, rather than just, trying to be one-man army that is, okay, you've been able to address one particular issue, but there are thousands of them happening every day. But starting a movement of awareness movement is always more effective than just to say, okay, I want to feed, let's say you see kids that are hungry, and you say, okay, these are homeless kids, I can only, how many can I take? If you are going to look at that, then you are going to always be feeling disillusion and, overwhelmed, Yeah, you feel powerless and perplexed. So instead of looking at, okay, these are all the keys, what can I, one person, do? Always know that awareness, raising the awareness and information is more powerful than you. And that awareness is even more powerful than what you could do. You might never take anybody to your house. But if you be able to just sit down and write about it, raise the alarm, and mobilize people to talk about it, you might even be doing more than taking 100 people in your home. Because if you raise an alarm and set up a system and find out the process of getting those kids, and help other people and raise the alarm and awareness that people know they have to do that. And then there are hundreds or thousands of people begin to talk about it and begin to respond. That might even be much more difficult than you taking a few to your house. I don't know if you understand. Yes. So that's what we are talking about, raising awareness, starting movements, NGOs, civil societies. That's what system means. A system is better than just a one-man effort and army. For example, right now, I'm raising these things. What am I doing? I'm not doing anything as far as I'm concerned. I have some knowledge. I sit down by the camera. I just talk. Yeah, that's what I do. But today, there's no day I will go to the internet and not see somebody repeating one or two things of the things I've said about one issue or the other. But I've moved on. For example, let's take the issue of tithe and offering. When did I do that? When did I do that? That was in June. I did that in June for a month. So I spent the whole month talking about it. That was my own time. Just raised an awareness and I moved on. People think I'm still talking about that and offering today. Because they are quoting me all the time. As if I'm saying but many people are still, I've done my own. And I've done. Okay, somebody is talking about people don't know their calling. They go to church, they are alive, they don't know their calling and their purpose in life. I did a series, then I wrote a book, and I move on. I don't talk about purpose and calling anymore. I know that people have challenges with financial loss of money and things. I sat down, talk, wrote a book, and I moved on. People are still using those books and talking and those. You say awareness. What about if I just say, okay, now, the loss of money, I'll be going to one church after the other and be saying, don't pay tithe, don't pay tithe. How many years would that take me? Or, any other of those topics. I mean, awareness, a system, sometimes is even more significant than anything that you ever do by yourself. You get it? Yeah. So anything that you want to do, always think about in terms of system and movement. So, for example, we started this movement against deception in the church. I don't do anything. I don't know anything about it. But somebody is doing something every day. But that's what the movement does. Now I started this movement against paganism. A lot of commotions are going on everywhere. But they don't know that I've even moved on. Then I started this movement about demons and deliverance. They think I'm still talking about it up to now, but they don't know I've even finished, they have moved on. I spoke about love. It's good to just start a system, put a system in place. It's how does a system work? I've already told you this week about it. It's like a locomotive, a train. The locomotive have a track, okay, trail, a track, and what you only need to do, your own is to push it. Just let it begin to move. Once the locomotive is set on a motion, you go and sleep at home. You are snoring, but that locomotive that you set on track. He's making noise. I like, who is responsible for this thing now? They don't know you are. Thousands of kilometers later, you don't know you are snoring at home. Everybody is causing commotion everywhere. But you are that's how movements look like. You'll be snoring at home, but the thing you have set in motion is causing commotion everywhere. So it's not about what we're able to do by ourselves, it's what we trigger. It's what we give movement to. That's why I talk about movement.
Do you have an outreach campaign or crusade against injustice? Do you expose injustice in your nation? Do you bring to light issues of injustice?
Okay, for example, today somebody was writing, yesterday, someone wrote me and said, Pastor Sunday, I told you about it. I don't want you to talk about tithe and offering. Take another topic again. Because the tithe and offering, he said it has taken a life on its own. He says commotion has started. That commotion, nobody can stop it. So you don't even need to do anything again. Start another commotion. So I'm getting ready to do an interview to start another commotion over there for them. It's about what you're able to trigger. It's about what you trigger. It's not about what you sit down and, dedicating yourself to doing it all the time. No, you don't know. That's the movement. Think it through. See where you are effective. Your own movement might be articles. Your own movement might be videos. Your own movement might be sharing only. Your own movement might be organizing people. Your own movement might be anything. Just start a movement and let it just take a life on its own. It might be books. It might be anything. Okay, let's go. Okay. The next commotion, culture change. Yeah, but like Pastor Ruthie says that we still have a lot of things to change in the church. Yes, we are still dealing with that one. So we'll make sure that we have sorted a lot of things out in the church. And then it has taken a life of its own. And somebody sent me, what was her name? Who is there? Is Julie or Mayowa there? One of you have to come here. Let me quickly show you this thing. Thank God that I remembered. Someone sent me a letter last night. This is public page. Okay, this is my public page. You need to go and get it in the message. You see this thing this guy sent? Yeah, this is the name, Philip Yehoah. See? This was yesterday. These things that's on the line. We need to put it outside. I mean, somewhere here on the page. So you'll be able to extract it. And when you are ready, you let me know. We can put it out. Okay. So where are we?
Next slide. Personalities are men of justice. They are crusaders for righteousness and campaigners against all manners of injustice. They cannot sit down or sleep while they know of the progression of injustice around them. This is what makes us to respect them. We honor them for sacrificing their comfort for the good and well-being of others.
So people think, ordinary people who are beer masses think that, no, let me just be in my own corner, my own safe corner. they think that is safer than sticking your neck out like this. But really, sticking your neck out like this is what immortalizes you. But, hiding your own corner makes you a non-entity. That's why you don't remember your grandparents, because they lived to give birth to your parents, and they are forgotten now. But the ones who didn't bother about themselves and their interests, but were living for generations to come, they are the ones we are all talking about. The Shakespeares, the Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton never married. He never had a child. But you remember him 100 years later, and your own grandparents 100 years ago, because they were living for mundane things. Well, people who dare to live for people and purpose, they live forever. So, personalities are like that. They, disregard their comfort to live for purpose, and then they are immortalized. But those ones who want to live for comfort, they are forgotten in the history. They are forgotten. Okay.
Next. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
That's our you see, it's a personality, you see. You can tell that through the way these people talk, you can now immediately differentiate between people. You see, yeah? You see how personalities talk, and I don't need to tell you again who is a personality. We just hear them, you now know they are. They don't need to be Christians or Muslims, or the nature of God has arisen in them. They had worked upon themselves to develop the nature of God. So it's a personality. He doesn't care where injustice is happening. A personality. Like, what's your own problem? Address your own injustice alone. No, injustice. It's a personality response.
I'm not sure. So I have a question. Forgive me if you've answered it and maybe I haven't paid attention. How do these people, I think he was a Christian, but the other kind, the non-believers, how do they, because you've talked a lot about the attributes, the qualities, and so on and so forth about personalities. It's quite in-depth. So how do these people adopt these personalities? That is.
How do they discover?
How do they discover it, and how
these qualities?
Yeah, and live with, even though they may not be Christians. It really phases my imagination, honestly. To live so deeply and to be so sacrificial and, like you said, to leave their comfort zone. It really baffles me. It honestly baffles me.
Especially when they are unbelievers.
Especially when they're unbelievers. So what is it? Is it the training of their parents? Is it because Daddy got wired that way? Did they have a seed of? I mean, what is the secret?
Simple.
What is it?
Everything you read in the Bible is hidden everywhere. God in diverse manners and ways taught our fathers, it says, but teaches us, speaks in diverse manners and ways. God speaks up to today. But the easiest manner that make all these personalities we call unbelievers to know these things and to even live by them better than us is through self-education. It's because this Bible we are seeing now and many other books have been written and rewritten, dissected and interpreted, but there have been books. For example, you can read Shakespeare. He's writing a play, but in that play, he's just passing across one message from the Bible. So that message is so well dissected, so well described and communicated that people don't even know where it comes from. But they know it's a truth. They are reading it thousands of years, hundreds of years later. They are just doing the play. But that character that was portrayed there, that truth, becomes their own. So they don't even know it's the Bible. It's truth. But because they read some book somewhere, or they read one film, they watched one film somewhere, they read where one lesson or two lessons are come across. And people who read a lot like that, they discover wisdom everywhere. Wisdom everywhere, wisdom everywhere. They gather, they become. So for us Christians, we are supposed to have everything in one place through the Bible. And to be able to, but because of religion, Satan is so subtle. So the Bible is supposed to have all these things in one place. That is where all these things are coming from. But all those unbelievers, they are getting them through self-education, through working hard, through reading hundreds and hundreds. That's why you will never see a history maker that says, everybody, take Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, anybody that is great that you meet, Warren Buffett, they will tell you they read minimum 50 books a year. Minimum. That is a standard. 50 books a year. And that is how they get it. Because in every page of any book, there is a truth. So they are getting all this. So all these values that I just said, they might have taken 10 years or 50 years, 20 years to gather all of them. But because they read a lot, they work a lot, they are getting 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. But really, we are more advantageous because we are close it meanwhile, but so that they are not distracted. No, just stop it. You know how to stop it there. So that's how they glean it. They glean, just like people glean, just like people do with diamond or with gold. From dirt, a lot of junk, but there is always some diamond, some. That's why people watch movies. That's why people do movies. That's why people do theaters. That's why people read books. That's why people. So they get all this wisdom from everywhere. That is how they become who they become. But originally those things are coming from God. Either from the Bible or from, but they might not have even gotten it from the Bible. They might have gotten it from observing nature, because God speaks in diverse ways. Or by observing people's behaviors, people's attitude to one another, and they write it down. So those wisdom that people have written all over, that's why it is criminal for anybody to tell you not to read books or to read only one book. Because even if you are reading Bible, you are reading it through religion. You need other people have already given understanding to, so that you will now begin to understand what you read. Because God has spent thousands of years to educate people, to explain these things to people. For you to be reading Bible alone, to say God will explain to you direct what he has spent 6,000 years to explain to millions of people, is foolishness, because there is no way you could just sit down and be trying to get what he has explained to millions. And God doesn't repeat himself. So he has already put them everywhere. So read and gain all the wisdom from other people that have read also many, many, many things. For example, you can get in one day like this the wisdom of 1,000 years from just listening to me. That's why you must read other people's books. Not just me. There are thousands of other people that also have read like me, wide, and read Bible and read other things. So that's why it is foolishness not to read and not to study. That is how they become like that. I don't know if I answered the question. Yes.
I just want to find out or throw it out to see if there is a skill of speed reading.
Of course.
So that we can learn speed reading.
Oh, yes.
So that you can read more.
I used to do that here.
Right.
I used to teach it in the HMT here.
Right.
But it's easy. Just go to the internet and look for a speed reading in the Google or YouTube. It is there, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, for example, I discovered one of the greatest blessings for my life last month, 1 month ago. Some of my assistants, Mayowa, told me that because I've not been using Kindle books, I've been using just, whenever I need a book, I tell people to buy it for me, paper book from, or the ones I could download for free. But I didn't have the device, the Kindle device. So Mayowa told me that there is Kindle device that I could be buying the books that I need by myself. So I did. Then she opened my eyes and said, now that I am a member of Kindle family, that I can have access to as many books as I want, up to 1 million books. And I discovered that there are 10 million of them. So that is the greatest blessing of my year. One of the greatest. Yeah, I don't care, but I have access. So, yeah, I don't care. It doesn't matter, but yeah, the thing is that it's unlimited. Yes. So for me, 1 million books, 10 million books available in my iPad here like this. That first day I read 4 books. And I determined that I will be reading 1 book per day. 1 book per day. That's the greatest revelation, the greatest blessing. Because all the great men of God, not men, no, God, great men, personalities, all the personalities of the world, they read 1 book a week. But I want to do my own 1 book a day. Because I couldn't do that before, because why would I get 1 book? Million book. Nobody can have 1 million book. But now, technology. 1 million books for me. In my iPad. I don't need to go to the library. 1 million books with me every day. A million books. And all these books are for free. Yeah! I said, why didn't anybody tell me before now? But it's never late. It's never late. I'm going to begin to cash up. 300 books a year.
Me, in my ignorance, Amazon has been begging me to come and be a part of it. And I said, $7 a month. I have to think about that.
$7 is just 1 book you could buy.
I know.
One book is even.
I know.
So for the price of 1 book, you get 1 million books.
I know. Every month, yeah.
Every month. I am the richest man on earth now. I have kingdom. I am the blessed, the most blessed human being on earth. I would like, my greatest dream would be for me to be locked up somewhere and put me with the Kindle Amazon. Just leave me alone. I don't need to see anybody. I don't need to see anyone. I don't need to go anywhere. I don't need to go to church. I don't need to go preach. Just go and have Google Amazon. 1 million books. And me alone. That is my life. That's the greatest gift you could give me. You want to give me that gift? You want to help me with that gift? Audible? Wow. You can also get 1 million like that? But I'm still enjoying the reading one. 1 million books. In my here with me, portable. Hey. 1 million books for me. 1 million books for free. It doesn't have to be free. I don't care if it's free or it's not free. But 1 million books in my library. Anyone, pick any topic. 1 million books. I must, minimum, I must read 300 books a year. Minimum 300 books a year. Target 1 book a day. I'm the happiest of men. Happiest of all men. Happiest of all men. Happiest man. Happiest of all men. 1 million books for me. Can you believe it? 1 million books. 1 million books. Can you believe it? You can just think about it. 1 million books. Can you believe it? You can get it. Just pick it. Just get your iPad. Just press it and get it. Anyone. Just put the topic and just get it. Free. Books. OTO. Before now, I was thinking, how should I get to read 1,000 books till I die? I want to write 1,000 books before I die for myself, my own book. But I want to be able to read 10,000 books. And said, how will I be able to do that? But with this one now, it's possible. I'm going to now put my target out there. And I don't need to struggle, don't need to be waiting for 2 weeks for the books to come, 2 months, before we find somebody to buy it, before they carry it, before they bring it. That's what I used to do all my life. Wait for 2 weeks before they bring. Can you bring me that book? Can you do that book? Now I'm sitting in my room, in my couch, lying in my bed, just pressing the thing that the books are coming to me, my bed. Can you believe it? 1 million of them. Yes, Pastor. Books. These are books. Nothing better than that. Because when you eat food, you go to the toilet and you lose it. But when you read books, you become somebody. Books. You shall know. So I can know everything and be free. My people perish because they don't know. But I can know. So I can avoid perishing. Books. 1 million of them. No. You can't believe what I'm feeling. You can't believe what I'm feeling. I prefer this than $1 million. I prefer this than $1 million. Keep your $1 million. I will give you $1 million to give me this. And I have in my house. I didn't even give anybody $1 million for it. My staff sat down in my house, just paid some chicken change, and I got it out there. Books. Not cheeseburger. Books. Not shirt, not suit, not car. Books. 1 million. Not house. And I don't need to transport them. You know how much it cost me when I finished university to transport just my books? 1 million here with me. Me, I don't know. I don't know what you are feeling, but I'm on the 7th heaven. I don't know what you are feeling, but I'm on the 7th heaven. I'm in the 7th heaven. I'm in the 7th heaven. Yeah. I'm in the 7th heaven.
Okay, I just want to add a little bit more as per Anastasia question. I'm going to say the answer to that question is in you, actually.
They want you to come here?
Yeah. Let's say from last year, when you came the very first time, you were a different Anastasia.
Yeah.
What changed you?
Yeah. Knowledge.
First of all, knowledge. That you got more focus on your calling, right? And you are dedicated to that. You are exchanging information, asking questions, studying that, meditating, increasing your relationship with God, obviously, but in terms of practice, you are practicing those things.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's the answer for that.
Yeah.
And that's all these people now. Well, Pastor Sunday is talking about technology.
Yeah.
Yes, we have access to that technology, but those people, 50 years ago, 30 years ago, they didn't have it. So
I mean,
how
they
they
have
get
to
it?
do so much to get books those days.
Yeah, how they get it?
And I had it.
Exchanging information, talking, asking questions, meditating, writing their thoughts.
I want Julie and Mayowa to come and tell you, maybe one by one, tell you what happened to me for the first few days after they got me this technology, these Amazon books. Let them tell you what happened to me. Give the microphone. How they saw me.
Okay, so when I saw Dr. Sunday with the Kindle book or with his iPad in his hand, I just saw, for me, he looked like a small boy who got the greatest gift he ever waited for. Like, he was so happy.
The toy, yeah?
Yes, like a small boy, with so much joy on his face, and just so, how can I say, he was just covered in it. He was talking about it all the time and telling Mayowa, why didn't you tell me earlier? And we were just thinking, okay, we didn't know it was so amazing. But actually, I'm just understanding it right now even better, because he made the statement of knowledge and that we perish because of lack of knowledge. And I didn't actually connect that to Kindle or to reading that much. I mean, yes, of course, you read and you gain knowledge, but wow, think about it. You pay $7.99 every month to have access to over 1 million books. And if you actually understand the principle of knowledge, you will understand that great gift that Amazon has given us actually with that subscription. So I really understand it, and I'm just thinking, wow, I feel like I want to do that. I want to invest that time and read at least a book a week or in 2 weeks maybe, because I think we really underestimate the power of knowledge and the principle of knowledge. So if you would have seen Dr. Sunday, actually the day that one day after we introduced it to him, I think, we went out, Mayowa and I, so we spent the whole day away from the house. And we had bad conscience because we were thinking, oh no, we didn't work today a lot, and Dr. Sunday's waiting, and what are we supposed to do when we come back, and we have to catch up. So when we came back, he was just saying, that was perfect. It was the perfect day for me because I was reading the whole day, and I read how many books? 4 books or something, yeah? 4 books, and we were thinking, what? So we could have spent the whole day, and it would have been the paradise for him, So it was just, you should have looked at him. He was just so fulfilled and just so happy. I mean, Maya and I were very confused. Like, we were sitting there thinking, okay, maybe next time we should plan that better. So, yeah, it was just amazing, seriously. I don't know anyone who cherishes knowledge as much as Dr. Sunday, so, yeah.
Hello, everyone. I was really amazed. I mean, Dr. Sunday was like running, and first he was like, why didn't you tell me? Why? Why did you tell me this before? So I was thinking, okay, whatever. And then I just, and then I said 1 million, you have access to 1 million. And he came back and said, no, look at what they said. It's 10 million. Oh, this. And in the first maybe 4 hours, he's already read 1 book. He went away, he said, oh, I'm going. He went away and he came back. That's on the same day. And then he came back and he said, look, I ordered this. I got this one, I got that. I said, okay, calm down with this, you know, calm down. Each time you can read 10 at a time. He said, no, but I want this one as well. And they're okay, just get me this. So we were ordering books as well as getting the unlimited ones as well. But the interesting thing is that we, like Judy said, that we went out and we were thinking that, okay, we need to do some work. We're supposed to come down at a certain time. And that day, Pastor was just saying, okay, I read 4 books. But then the following day, I was calling Pastor that, we need to come down. When are you going to come down? It's just buried in this Amazon book. He's just so happy. And even now, I'm thinking, who's happy about reading books? I mean, this excitement that he's showing, Amazon needs to pay him some money. Because I've been reading the comments, and I see other people, they're ordering them now. But it's always, with books, knowledge, trying to seek understanding, clarity on a topic. Dr. Sunday would deal with it over and over again. He would ask you questions. You're a woman. What do you think about this? So how were you feeling, when you saw this? He doesn't leave any stone unturned. He would go through everything. Okay, well, I know, I'm a man and I'm a woman. I have a wife and I have girls. But this issue, how do you feel? How does that make you feel when you see something like this? He goes deep into it. Even I myself, that the issue is I'm not thinking that way, and I know this is all from knowledge. He reads widely, earlier this morning, I was watching upstairs and he was telling us that there was somebody, I think it was Sigmund Freud, that he was reading his quote, and he said, he's not my friend, but he's saying something that has knowledge. And, as Christians and religious people, we are told that, don't touch this, don't read in this area, don't do this. Totally different. There's so many things that distinguish Dr. Sunday from human being, if I may say so. And, this is just a snippet of it, like somebody excited. Julie's always saying, we see Dr. Sunday like, oh, the boy with, the little, the present, Christmas Day, seeing their present, the present that they've always wanted, and the parents got it for them, and they're like so happy. For days, he was still happy. And he told him, and I was even telling him that you can have a Kindle device in itself. It's like, whatever, you can have the actual device. This is like I can have it in all my iPads, simultaneously. I can do this. Does everybody knows this? I said, yeah, of course everybody knows this. This is normal. But, it's just, I'm just so excited being here. I feel, this morning I was thinking to myself that I think I'm inside a gold mine. And it's also in the refinery as well. So it's not just that I'm picking the gold, I'm surrounded by the gold. I'm being refined here as well, because the understanding, the depth, the concentration, the intensity of who he is like, it's unbelievable to even see somebody that can be like this. And this is just an example. Books, Kindle books. Who wants to read 1 book a day? I don't know. Who is excited about reading books? And he would wake up, he does at minimum 3 hours personal time. I don't know when he sleeps, because I try to detect when he sleeps, but waking up every hour to look at to check if he's still awake on Skype, to see if he's there, and he's always there. So I'm thinking, when does he sleep? But I'm still going to do one more test. I want to see if he's got any blood in him, because I really want to. I'm going to poke him, because that will be my final test. But, this is an example. Just the books one, you can kind of imagine how he loves knowledge, how he seeks understanding. He doesn't assume anything. He looks for the evidence to thing. Even if he says something is like this, it's like, okay, let's look at it. Let's, look at it from a different angle, from a different point of view. Like, what? It's really clear. So I know, let's check it. Let's do this. So books, and maybe I'll read 1 a month. Who knows?
Yeah, I'd like to thank God for this week. I used to be one of the ones that only read Christian books, and but when we're doing the slides, I just noticed that he's talking about others, and I don't really know. I'm not, So I feel I got delivered, delivered from just being closed-minded and not being open. And I like to thank God for the life of DSA for teaching me that. I mean, I believe that changed my life on its own. And then the love for knowledge, the love for books. And sometimes I'm thinking like 200 books, one man? Like, so it's really challenging me to really dig in and to really read. And I believe that when we do that, our potential will not be limited. We can go places that we cannot even imagine.
Next.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, this the letters, the email somebody sent to me by my email as well. And what the person wrote is, do you know what the person wrote before then? His note. He wrote something before just a few paragraphs, a few sentences, or a few words. His own message. His own message.
Should I read?
No. She's supposed to see his message. Okay, it's taking so long. I will get it myself here now. So he's saying, DSA, you are amazing. How do you do your studies? I was in awe, soaking your message on syncretism in the African worldview. I can never finish saying God bless you for your deliverance and enlightenment. Look at the excerpt from the book, The Final Quest. There is a book called The Final Quest by Rick Joyner. Sir, I think you are leading the fulfillment of this prophecy. So there's a book on prophecy or a prophetic book. So this guy said, whatever the man is prophesying in the book, that I am probably leading the fulfillment of this prophecy. So let's see the prophecy and see if it is true what it said. Can you read it?
Okay.
Is that the first one? You have three. Change it now. Change it. Can you? Okay.
Okay. Many will do everything that they can to avoid it.
No, read clearly, short, loudly.
Many will do everything that they can to avoid it. This is understandable and even normal. However, compromise will never maintain
What are you reading? But they have underlined something for you
okay.
now. Can you see?
That's okay. The Lord is now preparing the Lord is now preparing a leadership.
So the guys, just pick a page where the prophecy is and underline what he wanted, what he called the prophecy.
Okay.
What he has underlined is what he wants us to pay attention to.
Okay.
Only when you are copying a page, it's difficult to you have to catch other pages as well.
Okay. The Lord is now preparing a leadership that will be willing to fight a spiritual civil war in order to set men free. The main issue will be slavery versus freedom.
He's talking about the church, the end time, the last day before Jesus comes back, that the Lord is now preparing. This was written about 20 years ago, that the Lord is preparing the new leadership in the body of Christ that will be willing to fight, but it will be like spiritual civil war. In the civil war means within your people, within the church. In order, and that war is going to be about freedom, setting the people of God free from the religious cabals and from holding people in plantation and slavery mentally. So that's what he's talking about. The main issue will be the question of, in the church, slavery or freedom. Either people will keep on being slaves, as the church, through church and religion will be enslaving people, or it will be people will get freedom. So the civil war will be about giving people freedom from slavery. And I understand exactly what that means. When I read that, I know exactly what is happening. Because my crusade, what I'm doing with my broadcast is actually this. Yes. It's actually setting people free from the slavery of religion and from the religious cabals and from syncretism, paganism, and all things that are holding people down. You remember we were talking about the concept of marriage, what people think about marriage culture, and all this. They are in holes. They are in prison homes. Prison. Those are the freedom we are talking about. Different things are holding people in captivity. Culture, family, church, religion, cabals. And, this was prophesied years back that it's going to be like a civil war. There are going to be some leaders that are going to be raised up to set the people of God free for their destiny. Instead of them just working for other people to, serving the vision of others, setting them free from the concept that you cannot have your own vision. You can only fulfill the vision of your leader or whatever. So that is what it's talking about. So that spiritual civil war to set, liberate, just like the physical civil war set the slaves free. Now he's setting the slaves free in the church, spiritually. I got that. For me, I understand what he's talking about. Okay, next one.
The church will be destroyed, but the institutions and doctrines that have men in spiritual slavery will be.
No, read it again clearly, one by one.
The church will be destroyed, but the institutions and doctrines that have men in spiritual slavery will be.
You see, what it's saying is that the church that will be destroyed is the institution, the institutionalized church that is holding men in slavery is what is destroyed. It is not the church as the body of Christ that will be destroyed, but the institutionalized church that is holding people. Like what people call church today is mainly the mechanism, the institution. So the institutionalized church holding people in bondage as their property will be destroyed. So, but the church will remain, but the church now will not be institutions and building anymore, but people. So the church now will be human beings, Christians, whom Christ lives in, rather than institutions or denominations of this one. So that's what it's saying. Okay?
Next one. What I have said to you, say to my brethren, go and call my captains to the last battle. Go and defend the poor and the oppressed, the widows and the orphans. This is the commission of my captains, and it is where you will find them.
That's a lot of the focus of my teachings. That's what it has been about. Especially if you listen to the series and tithe and offering and all that, that's the whole idea. That the church should leave the four walls of the church, pulling down the walls of the church, to set Christians free to go and bring justice, truth, equity, righteousness, to the disenfranchised, the orphans, the fatherless, everywhere. So I understand it. And I think the guy who sent this is right, that this is the fulfillment of prophecy right now, what we are doing. Can you read that again?
What I have said to you, say to my brethren, go and call my captains to the last battle. Go and defend the poor and the oppressed.
So that's the battlefield, that's the spiritual civil war. Some people are going to be on the side of the people, the poor, disenfranchised, ordinary people. But some people want to go ahead and keep everything the way it is, the status quo. That's why it's civil war.
Go and defend the poor and the oppressed, the widows and the orphans. This is the commission of my captains, and it is where you will find them.
Yep. So I don't know how we got there, but I just remembered it. And I think it's profound. What do you people have to say about all this? No comments from anybody? Yep.
I am rejoicing in my heart that I am not lost. Because how can we be here at this moment and with PSA and this is going on? I am just glad that I am saved. We are all saved. And the movement starts with us, all of us. So, are you not rejoicing that we are part of this?
Exactly.
Who are we? Who is me? You understand? A sinner or somebody that doesn't even know anything, no knowledge, we don't know anything. And then we're part of this?
Lord.
Oh, I don't even know what to say. I just thank you, Jesus. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad that I'm part of this movement. And that's my joy. That's my joy. I'm glad that I'm part of this from nowhere a few months ago. Look, I don't even know what to say.
Praise God.
I just want to say that my being alive has meaning now. Remember I said to you that my parents, they went to see, what do you call it, to have me aboard, or maybe you don't know, sorry. My parents tried to get me aboard, well, they did, actually. But I've always thought about why did Daddy God keep me alive? Because the truth is that there are many abortions going on every day. And no one knows really the mind of God, why he allows some children to die and some, remain alive. I'm not an expert in that area. But I have meaning. I have heaven's foundation now. I'm rooted in God's understanding that he's kept me alive to be a personality, to bring about transformation, to push the agenda of heaven. And that is, so I understand where you're coming from. Totally understand that. Thank you.
We are part of it. We are part of this movement. Okay, we still have some time, right? Okay, so let's continue with our teaching.
Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Martin Luther King, Jr. Proverbs 28:5. Evil men do not understand justice, but those who seek the Lord understand all. Next. Quality number 6. A personality is someone whose primary concern is for the truth. Next. An ordinary person to an ordinary person, truth could be circumstantial. It applies only when the conditions are right. To others, truth is conditional. That is, truth could be applied when the conditions are right. Yet to another group of people, truth could be flexible. To a personality, truth is always absolute and constant. They base their decisions only on the truth. Judge their decisions only by the standard of the truth. Don't compromise the standard of the truth that is revealed to them.
Okay, so we've already done a series on the truth, right?
Yes.
I don't have a book on that yet, but we have a whole series on YouTube on truth. And I think there's no way to become a personality without getting to understand and hear that series on the truth. Without the truth, even those 4 things we are talking about, the personalities live for justice, equity, righteousness, and truth. Truth is one of the main things in the kingdom of God. So if you want to know that more of that, go to the YouTube series on truth. Okay.
Next. Personalities seek the truth. Personalities are interested in the truth. Personalities study the truth. Personalities are in love with the truth. Personalities would rather prefer not to live at all than to live for the truth. Than not to live for the truth. I take it again. Personalities would rather prefer not to live at all than not to live for the truth. Personalities know that one person on the side of the truth is the majority. Personalities know that truth cannot be destroyed or extinguished. Personalities know that truth prevails all the time and lies fail all the time. Next. A lie is a lie even if everyone believes it. The truth is the truth even if no one believes it. David Stevens.
That's tough, huh? A lie is a lie. Evil is
Everyone believes it.
The truth is the truth. Evil is
Nobody believes it. Oh.
Go back. 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 More back. I need to comment this. To an ordinary mere mortal, truth doesn't mean anything. It's just a word. And truth depends on what is happening, circumstances. Mainly for ordinary men, truth is about events or what happened, occurrences. It's true now, but you can't see it. I didn't see it. It's not true. It's lie. That so them they only have domestic understanding of truth like that. But truth is a principle. Truth is a value system. Truth is the nature of God. Truth supersedes circumstances. Truth is not about events, and truth is a truth that goes throughout all generations. Truth is a fact of life that rules, is part of the law upon which the earth is based. That's what truth is. Truth is one of the foundations, one of the key fundamentals based upon which the planet Earth is based. Truth is a law upon which our earth and life on the earth is established. Okay, truth is like this chair. You see this chair, this is life, and this is earth, planet earth. You see one leg? How many legs does this chair have?
Four.
Truth is one of those legs. What do I need to repeat? Yeah, that's what I want to know about how many minutes ago. Okay. You are supposed to stop me. That's what I thought. Okay, then let's start all over again. So ordinary men, ordinary mortals, truth doesn't mean anything. So ordinary mortals and ordinary men, truth is just like circumstantial. It's just like a fact of events. Oh, is it true that he went there? It's not true. He didn't go. Did you hear that? It's true. It's not true. It's just like the fact of life. It's just like, did it rain today? It didn't rain. People don't know that truth is a fundamentals of life. It's a major fundamental of life. Truth is not just what you use to assess events, if it happened or it didn't happen. Truth is heavier than that. Truth is one of the weightier matters of life. Truth is one of the fundamentals and the basis upon which life itself operates. So let's say the earth and life itself is formed on or established on stones, cornerstones. You know cornerstones? Pillars. You know, when you are talking about foundation, so the corners or the cornerstones of those foundation, if there are 4 cornerstones, one of those major cornerstones of life is truth itself. Truth is at the basis of life. So truth is not just, did it go, it didn't go. Did it happen? It happened, it didn't happen. It's true. Truth is one of the fundamentals of life that everybody must not just know but embrace. Truth is one of the fundamentals of life upon which everybody's life must be based. Truth is one of the fundamentals of life upon which life that enables life to function. When truth is neglected or abandoned, life can never function the way it's meant to function. When truth is absent, life is absent. Truth is so fundamental to life itself. Truth is so integral with existence that to be void of truth is to be void of life. That's why Jesus was talking about life, and he said something. He said, I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life. Huh? Yes. I am the way, I am the truth, I am life. So he's talking about himself. Now, see what he says. The way to truth is me. And truth gives you life. And you have way, you have life, and you have truth in between them. So life is not possible without truth. The way to God is not possible without truth. So to use the way to get to God, you need truth. To live life is not possible without truth. Huh? You got it now. So truth is at the very essence and at the very center of existence and life itself. That's why it says, because the truth is at the center of life. It says, you shall know the truth. And you are set free. Because truth itself is God. That's why the way takes you to truth. Because the way takes you to God. So when you live and embrace the truth and live by the truth, in your heart, you live with God. That's why one of the bases of assessment that God will use, some people always ask the question, what about people who never had the gospel before? What about people who never had? That's why truth is, that's why conscience is a manifestation of it's a variation of truth. It's a parameter. What do you call it? There's another thing I'm looking for. Thermometer of truth is the conscience. That's what God will use to judge people. How much they abide and live and love the truth. Because it's the centrality. It's between the life and the way. It's the way and the life is in between them. So your life must be based on truth, according to your conscience. But a lot of people don't base their life on truth. So they cannot have life. Their life is not based on truth, so the way cannot take them to the truth, to God, who is the truth. So the truth is at the fundamental of everything. That's why it is only conscience that is there within you to testify to the truth if you live by the truth or you don't live by the truth. And to guide you, either you know God or you don't know God to live by. So in every religion, God knows what he's doing. So truth is at the foundation of everything. And that's why that conscience is supposed to lead you and guide you around the truth. So truth is not just some, unclear word that people just talk about. And truth is the fundamental of life. So, ordinary human beings. So let's talk about chair. You see this chair. For it to sit down, these 4 legs are necessary. And it's not possible for you to really sit down and enjoy your sitting if one of them is cut off. That is what I'm talking about, truth. So this is your whole existence. Okay, for example, even physical world, even this house cannot be built without truth. Because, for example, if I say the architect that built this house has to use measurement and has to calculate. So the calculation is 2 plus 2. Let's say 2 plus, let's say this is 4 by 6. Yeah? That is truth. The other side also, for it to stand, has to be the same, 4 by 6. Then foundation also has to be, you have to be truthful. But if you don't follow truth, you say, this is 4 by 6 and this is 4 by 1. The house will be like this. Then you go to the foundation and you say, no, it doesn't matter. Just do anything you want. If it's not consistent with the truth, you are destroyed. The next flood that will come, or the next air that will blow, you cannot live, but you cannot ignore truth and function on the earth. You cannot build a house. The same thing with the car. Let's say you are building a car, and then the car is, you have the gear, you have the engine, and all the things have their parameters. According to you must abide by the parameter of the truth that is indicated. So you now say, no, it doesn't matter. So the gear and the speed is supposed to be 200 kilometer per hour maximum, and then let's say 60 kilometer per hour is but instead of 200 kilometers, you went and put 2 million kilometers. By the time you put like this, you just whoa! You are in the space, you kill yourself. You understand? So everything has to be exactly what it is. Truth. Nothing functions but by the truth. If this computer is not established on the truth, they will give it to you and say, press this. So if you press it, it will do like this. And you press, don't do it like that, it's not according to the truth. And it will never work. Everything is based on truth in life. Science doesn't work without it. The earth doesn't function without it. Okay, for example, moon and sun will never come out without the truth. Because the truth is that when it's morning, the sun will witness to it that it's morning. When it's night, the moon will witness to it. Oh. The stars, the moon, the firmament, everything witnesses to the truth. That's why God is the truth. Oh. You cannot deny the truth and live and function. That's why it's in the middle way, life. Truth is there. So when I now did a series on the truth, and it's the least visited series, it's the least listened to series, it's the series that is most abandoned and neglected. Can you imagine what's going through my mind, what's happening to me? I know that people have been deceived, locked up in ignorance, locked up in darkness. They don't even know the role of truth. They don't even know the place of truth. They don't even know that there is nothing more important than the truth. Because the truth is the word. And the truth is light as well. And the truth is knowledge too. And the truth is wisdom. all that encompasses themselves in the truth. So, I mean, in the beginning was the word, in the world was the word. That's all truth. So that's why people want to, people want to know what they should do to overcome evil or spirits or demons. The Bible says, take up the full armor of God. First of all, the God of truth. Finish. Number one weapon. If you know the truth, you are finished. You are done. What's the truth? You are seated all on high. People want to know, what do I do to be healthy? Know the truth about healthy living, but bye-bye it. I didn't even finish that series because I noticed that the more I was preaching it, the more the number of people were reducing. So I just people want sensation and excitement.
Not the truth.
They don't even know what the truth means. Because it has been so, relegated for so long. People don't have an idea. So to commit yourself to the truth is to commit yourself to God. To be committed to the truth is, where is that your, yeah. Come. Yeah. Hold it. You saw the anaconda of yesterday, the cobra. To commit yourself to the truth, yeah, no problem. To commit yourself to the truth, is to wrap yourself into it. That is why a man of truth becomes an invincible man. That is why one man on the side of the truth is one man on the side of God. One man with truth is one man with God. So you are one man, and the whole rest of the world is 7 billion. God will neglect them, pass them 7 billion by, and stand by you who is on the side of the truth. That's what it means, that one man with God is one man with truth. That's why the Bible says that those in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, 10 to 12, it says, for they do not have the love of truth in them. And because they do not have the love of truth, God has given them to a spirit of delusion and, what was delusion? No, delusion. Lost. Delusion is another synonym is what? Delusion, and when you say you are in error, what do you call it? No. Deception. So God has given anybody that is not in love with the truth, that does not have the love of truth, God does not just allow them to go into deception, He leads them into deception. Anybody that is not that is alive, you are living on planet Earth, and you've not committed yourself to the truth. You've not wrapped yourself in the truth like this. God Himself allows you to believe deception and to go into delusion. Deception and delusion, you will fall into them. No matter how sincere you are, no matter how energetic you are, no matter how passionate you are, no matter how religious you are, no matter how prayerful you are, when you have not been taught to be in love with the truth and to make the truth your only love, that is why Sir Isaac Newton said what he said. Plato is my friend. Socrates is my friend. But the truth is my greatest friend. But that's talking about what? Love of truth. That's what it's talking about. So once you have, if you don't get to that place in your life, that the truth is exalted above all, you are not secured and protected, and you don't rise above deception and delusion. In fact, God leads you into them. As a matter of fact, God sends delusion your way and deception, because that is the evil that happens to people who don't. Can you find that scripture? That's the evil that happens to people who don't fall in love with the right thing. Because if you don't fall in love with the truth, you will love something else. There is no way the heart can be in vacuum. Your heart will love something else. So the heart must love, and God is truth. Either you are in love with the truth, or you will be in love with something else in life. And in this world, there are so many things that are calling for your heart, for your attention, for you to love them. So that's why the only thing that will protect you is for your heart to be busy already in love with truth. Because it will be in love with the fear of men, family or something, praise or glory or money or mammon, or, all kind of things will take over. So when you wrap yourself in truth like this, you wrap yourself in God. That's why when you are on the side of truth, you are wrapped in God. That's why he says when it comes to, he said our fight is not against blood and flesh and blood, but it's against principalities, it's against all that. But how do you now overcome them? He says, stand therefore, take on the whole, when it's the whole armor of God. Then he started listing the armor. Number one, because when you, it doesn't matter the principality, it doesn't matter the power, it doesn't matter the evil forces of darkness in the high places, but when you meet it with truth, all of them bow. There is no weapon that is stronger than truth. So when you wrap yourself in truth like that, no, I'm not talking truth in Christ Jesus like in religion. We are talking about universal truth in all dimensions. That's why when you listen to my teaching, you will know that I'm talking about truth in all ramifications. Not just religious truth, just truth. Works like God in everything. Just like this building I just told you about now. It works like God. If you don't follow the principles of truth, it will collapse. But if you follow the wrong, the thing will stand like God stands. That's just it. Where is it? Where is that scripture? Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. You are cold, eh? Good. Okay.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 10.
Yeah, you can remove it.
And with all deceivableness.
What is deceivableness? What kind of interpretation is that?
Old King James.
No. Bring normal, new. And with all unrighteous deception, you see deception, among those who perish, because they did not receive the love of the truth. Love of the truth. That they might be saved. Now, let's start from verse 9. 9 to 12. And I didn't even get to this one. I have a whole series on, love of truth, which is going to be for another month. But I had to stop because people are not valuing what I was doing. So I didn't even talk about this in that series that I did. This is a whole different series on its own, about truth, the second part on truth. But I had to stop because people they're not serious. They want sensation. So even him whose coming is after the working of Satan. Now, wow. Can I read now? He didn't press enter. Maybe Nami go enter. Maybe I should go and help myself, so that my arm might give me my own deliverance by myself. I could become my own assistant, my own staff. The coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan with all power, signs, and lying wonders. Which one is there? And with all unrighteous deception among those who perish, because they did not. You know, why unrighteous deception? Satan fell into it, and all the angels fell into unrighteous deception. Why? Among who are the people who fall into deception? Who? Deception is only among those who perish because that they may be saved. So, love of truth. There's nothing more important than that. Because if you love the truth, you are saved from perishing, you are saved from deception. And for this reason, God will send them strong delusion. Who sends the strong delusion? Is it Satan? Is it Satan?
No.
Is it Satan?
No.
Is it men?
No.
Is it evil spirits?
No.
Is it enemies?
No.
Is it witches and wizards?
No.
Send back to sender. Send back to sender. The sender is in you. The sender is in your house. Now you they send the thing to yourself. When you don't love the truth, you are the sender. For this reason, God will send them strong delusion, because they did not believe the truth, that they will believe lie. You see, that they all may be condemned who do not believe the truth. You see, but add pleasure in unrighteousness. Our pleasure must be in the truth. Our love must be for the truth, rather than in unrighteousness. God will strong delusion. That's what is happening in Africa. People are not in love with the truth. They don't even know about truth. So they go from the delusion in the name of religion. So strong delusion is keeping everybody in slavery. Because they don't have the... You see, anybody that loves the truth, they will recognize this message I'm preaching. Not today's message, my message in general. Even if you... For a human being not to recognize that this message that Pastor Sunday is preaching is God, you know that it's not ordinary. And the reason why, and you'll be thinking, these were are spiritual now. These were good people now. There is something in their heart that you don't know. And that something in their heart is lack of love only for truth. They have love for any other thing but for the truth. They love the GOs. They love the pastors. They love the bishop. They love the church. They love the comfort. They love the blessing. They love the miracles. They love any other. When you love something else above the truth, you will go into delusion. You will not. In fact, even you will come to the meeting. They will send you the video of the truth like this. You'll be looking. You'll be saying, why is he shouting? How is laughing? Or he mentioned my GO. You will not see truth. You will be seeing any other thing, everything you want to, but you will not see truth. Because the heart is already being deluded. And it's not Satan doing it, and you say, we are praying for them. Make they pray. When God himself is sending the delusion, when God himself is sending the deception, and you say you go pray, make you pray now. Yeah, they go. Truth is the answer. Truth is light. They will be thinking you are the one in deception. So it's a strong stuff. It's a strong stuff. Okay, so let's go back to where we were. In fact, where will I go back to? Nothing to go back to. I think this is the end for today. We just Sam wants to make a gift for you people. So I will call Sam to come, and he wants to give his books to you people for free. He has wonderful, wonderful book. It's a so well-written book. It's amazing. So Sam, please come and introduce yourself. He's the president of, he has already finished medical school, but he was the president of the medical school students from Nigeria here. And so please come. So you must let him know that he's aware. Okay, see you guys. Thank you. She wants to hug me, but she's not old. She was hugging me in absentia. While I'm sitting here beside her. All right, thank you.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, my name is Samuel Owoye. Like Pastor said, I just finished my medical school. I study here in Ukraine. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I wrote a book titled The Language of Change. Actually, just to say something about the book, I came here last year around August to see Pastor. So while I was there, I picked one of his books and I read it. So when I read the book, I really got so challenged. I mean, it gave me a picture of what exactly happened to me when I was in school. So, and coupled with other things I've learned, in life. So I just said, I'm going to write a book. And I told him, I said, I'm going to write a book. That your book really challenged me to write my own book. So now here I have the book, exactly a year after. So titled The Language of Change. Now, what is the book all about? The language of change. Now, I realized that change, like most of us think that is what maybe we do. Like, it's like maybe I want to change, so I go ahead and make a change. But I realized that change is actually what happens every time. Whether you want it or not, whether you initiate it or not, change is happening every time. Like when I did research, I found out that even in our body right now, do you know change is taking place in your body right now as you're talking? Some cells are dying in your body, and some cells are coming up. Okay, that's a change. So I now conclude that, okay, if you want a change, that, okay, most especially we term as positive change, you have to be the one to initiate it because change is happening anytime, whether you like it or not. So most times it's always like negative change. So to make a change, then you have to get a book because I call it the language of change because now to initiate the change that you want, you need to be the one to take the step to make the change. And to also conclude the talk, I actually have this passion to cook. Yeah, I've been cooking all the, yeah. Yeah, yes. Sorry, yeah, thank you, yeah. Yeah, so I have passion to cook. I hope you like the food, yeah, I've been cooking, yeah? All right, okay. Yeah, so when I say like to cook, now the cooking is in two dimensions. I like to cook with my hands, and I like to cook with my mind. So the cooking I do with my mind is like, getting some inspirations to write some things down, like Pastor said, really having passion for knowledge. So when I get those things in my mind, because I meditate a lot, so I put them down. So like I cook with my mind to put things down, then I cook with my hands to prepare food. So it's all about preparing food. So because I know information is food to the mind, right? And also the physical food is food to the body. So that one, it may perish. But the food to the mind, I believe that one is the most important, and I take it so seriously. So that's why I want to, like, even when I get some inspirations, I put them down. And I also put some of those things on Facebook and my blog spot. So as a gift to every participant of HMT this time around, I told Pastor that I'm going to give every one of you a copy of the book. Like, I don't want you to pay for it. So, like, just get a copy of the book. And I want you to be blessed by it. So thank you very much for your time. So, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you a copy now.
Let's appreciate Sam. He's the one that has been cooking the dinner anyways, just in case you're wondering. Yeah. So we appreciate. Thank you very much for your wonderful cooking. You make us feel at home anyways. So let's be seated, please. I think, yeah, if that is that, he's going to pass the books around. But I think this brings us to the end of this morning's section. We have lunch 1 hour, then we'll be back. And we'll be back with Dr. Aarons. It's like we can't have enough of him. Yeah. So you should get your mind ready for that. But before we go, one more announcement. For those of you that they pass the books around, the latest book, what is the title? Yeah, Let the Heroes Arrive. Please, I think they gave out like 11 copies. Please, we need them back, or if you want to buy, you can buy as well. But first, it's either you give us back or something. Oh.